You can go birding anywhere. May as well make it someplace spectacular. I'm going to share a special place with you. This is a bit out of the way. It's a little bit secret. Don't let the secret leave this room. I don't want this spot to get too popular just because I posted this. I mean, how many subscribers do I have? Is that all? Oh, never mind. This is Campobello Island. It's right off the coast of Maine, but it's in New Brunswick. The funny thing is, it's actually closer to Maine than it is to the rest of Canada. The lighthouse is Head Harbor Light, or East Quoddy Head. It's actually the oldest wooden lighthouse in North America. To get there, go through down East Maine to Lubec, cross the International Bridge, show your passport or whatever, and set your watch to Atlantic time. You're in Canada. So that's Lubec. You are so close to Maine that you could throw a pickleball across the border. You wouldn't think they'd need a lighthouse here, but you should see the fog when it rolls in. You can't see the front of the boat. So the spark plug lighthouse is right out there to guide you into the channel. Then once you're in, just make sure you don't hit ground. Campobello is most famous for being the summer boyhood home of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. It was so famous, they made an international park out of it, run jointly by the US and Canada. Friar's Bay, below the Roosevelt Cottage, has a lot of aquaculture. If you see farm-raised Atlantic salmon in the supermarket, there's a good chance it came from right here. Seabirds collect in the bay. There's a school of herring just below my feet. So close, this razorbill doesn't worry about being right next to me. Coming to Campobello in spring is great for the birding, but in late summer, everything is abloom. And the air is getting cooler as fall is approaching, so things are clear and beautiful. By the time the second half of August rolls around, this place is ablaze with blossoms. There's a lot of history here, but really, we're going across the street where most of the rest of the park is. It's just a glorious place for hiking, biking, and birding. Most of Roosevelt-Campobello International Park is really a thick spruce fir maritime forest. It's cool, wet, mossy, beautiful. Eagle Hill Bog. You'd have to drive 100 miles to find another bog boardwalk this good. This is like the classic bog. It's what they call cloud-fed. There's no running water coming into it, going out of it. It all just settles right here and never moves. Growing conditions are so harsh in here that some of the plants are carnivorous. They eat bugs. Take this pitcher plant, for instance. It's got downward facing hairs inside, so when the plant traps rainwater and an insect gets in there, it can't get back out. It dissolves, the plant eats it. There's a lot of sheep laurel in here. It blooms beautiful purple in the spring. This time of year, not so much, but it's also called lambkill because it's actually poisonous to sheep. Most of the actual trees in here are either black spruce or tamarack. Tamarack is this feathery stuff right here. It's a deciduous conifer. It drops its needles after turning golden in late fall. Black spruce really only grow their green vegetation at the top of the tree, so it looks like a lollipop. The nutrition is so poor it can't support all the other branches down below, so it just grows very slowly with just enough chlorophyll to keep it going. Now, I'm not going to show you many birds right now because it's much more active in the spring. They're all in here, but they're silent. They raves the kids, so you can't get their attention much, and I'm not even going to try very hard. Palm warblers, they are in here. In fact, they love bogs. Common yellowthroats are all over in here. Yellow rump warblers nest in here. American redstarts, especially in the taller trees down the path here. Around the edges, did I mention Nashville warbler? Sparrows, yeah, there's a lot of sparrows in here. White-throated sparrows are all over the place in here. Song sparrows are present. Lincoln sparrows are present, although, I don't know, the last couple of years they've been harder. Dark-eyed juncos, all over the place in here. Thrushes in here. If you count American robin, there are 3. But hermit thrush can be right out in the open and often is. Swainson's thrushes tend to stay a little bit buried back in the trees there. Reindeer moss, it's cool. It's actually a lichens, not a moss. Reindeer moss can grow to 250 years old. If you see a lot of it, it's really a mature area. You get up to Newfoundland, it's like sleeping on a mattress. Finches, American goldfinches and purple finches anytime. Crossbills, white-winged and red crossbills are eruptive, so they could be here, they may not be here. They come and go. And as you get into summer and into fall, cedar waxwings can be all over the place. Oh, one thing, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, you'll know. Northern goshawk is nested at the end of this trail just as you're going up into the woods of the observation tower several times, and they have to close off the trail because those things will kill you. Up here in the observation deck, not only do you get a great view when the weather's better, but you're also eye level with red-eyed vireo and blue-headed vireo. Just down the road from Eagle Hill Bog, short walk or a short drive, you get to Herring Cove, a big cove that is, well, typical of the northern part of North America. Anywhere else south of here, the ocean would throw up all kinds of sand. You have great sand dunes, wonderful beaches. Here, the storms are so hard and there's so little sand that it throws up rocks. Herring Cove is one of the best places to look for loons, eiders, and particularly scoters. Most scoters go north into Canada, further up, to breed, but anything that isn't breeding will sometimes stay here, like these black scoters. Even at this distance, you can tell they're black scoters because they all dive at once, which is pretty typical of their behavior. Other scoters will do it too, but not like these guys. Herring Cove is named after herring weirs. What's a herring weir? Well, it's those. So herring will come along the shoreline here and get to this net area. And they get trapped inside there, schooling around, circling around and around inside the net until somebody comes to get them and eat them. The road to Liberty Point is different than the road that goes to Cranberry Point. This is very deciduous through much of it. A lot of yellow birch, a lot of maple, a lot of beech, and a fairly low, easy to see into canopy. So in spring especially, you can get a lot of those northern forest warblers. Because of all this yellow birch, and even some white birch, and all this beech, black-throated blue warblers tend to be here more than anywhere else on the island. Lower Duck Pond. In spring, it's a must-stop because a lot of warblers like the sunny edges of the parking lot right here and along the beach line. Later in summer, it's interesting because a lot of the Bonaparte's gulls will come in here, and you'll usually find common eiders and maybe one of the three scoter species, maybe more in here. It's one of the first places red-necked grebes show up. This is too far for you to see, but there are actually seals barking out there in the islands. At lower tide, they'll tend to haul out there in the ledges. Liberty Point. Oh my God. 20 years ago, they didn't have these observation decks. It just gets better and better. Black guillemots, they're always here. There's gray seal playing around down there. A few years ago, I was watching humpback whales breach right out there. That rock out there, that's a seal haul-out. Harbor and gray seals will sit on it, and some days, when it's real quiet, you can hear them barking all the way from here. A little hard to see from here, but there are 17 black guillemots in that surf line out there. In fact, if you're here, look wherever the surf is the strongest, because that's where the food is really churned up, and you'll often find some of these alcids, the black guillemots, razorbills, murres, puffins even, in the surf line. All right, enough for Liberty Point. Let's go over to Fox Farm Road. Wait till you see this. Fox Hill Drive is completely different. It's almost all spruce, maybe some tamarack, and it's all red spruce. There's not even that much black spruce, which you only really find back there in the bog. If you are going to look for a spruce grouse, this would be the road to look on. You won't find it, probably back in the woods, the little twerps. I mean, Look at this forest floor. Sphagnum moss as far as the eye can see. The entire slope is absolutely green. I mean, this is spruce grouse heaven. This is the observation deck above Friar's Head in Roosevelt-Campobello International Park. You cannot get a better view than this. What you see here is a great view, but what you also see is a little bit of history if you know where to look. So for instance, we're on Campobello, it's in New Brunswick, and that's Maine right there. Why is this Canadian? So Eastport in Maine, right over there. Deer Island, which is the next part of Canada, is way up the bay. This is Canadian here because of how they settled the War of 1812. So after the Revolutionary War, the English and the Americans hadn't exactly decided what the borderline was. When they fought another war and they settled that one, they finally drew the line at the St. Croix River. Now, frankly, I don't think the residents here really minded being part of England while that was part of America, because the smuggling trade was awesome. In fact, we're standing above Friar's Head. It's a big rock pillar down there. It's got pockmarks. The British couldn't really stop people from rowing across and smuggling goods, so they just practiced on the rocks with their artillery. Seriously, if you wanted to smuggle, you could row across and they would never see you. This is Welchpool. I almost never come here, but I should. So one of the biggest reasons to be on Campobello in late summer is to look into Head Harbor Passage. And you can do that from Welchpool. So what to expect? You can expect to see a lot of Bonaparte's gulls. If the tide is right, they're going to be foraging right here. If the tide is slack, they're going to be lying all over the beach, just sitting and waiting for the tide to get good. And this time of year, a lot of alcids, the razorbills and the common murres, will come into the channel to feed, and they'll bring the youngsters with them. Little known fact, they only raise one chick a year, and it's the father that brings the chick to sea. Razorbill and common murre both do the same thing. Oh, and right over there, the Old Sow, the largest whirlpool in the Western Hemisphere, is right behind that lighthouse. All right, here's another secret. I think the best place to stay on Campobello is camping at Herring Cove Provincial Park. What a park this is. The campsites are separated from each other by a row of trees. You're pretty well secluded, and each campsite, I didn't find a bad one in the whole place. Good bathrooms, a cooking pavilion in case it rains. Oh, I checked them out for you. Good hot showers, no extra charge. I think there's little cottages down by the beach. There's more campsites by the beach. You can't find a better place than this. And the campsites are so quiet. You can sit at your picnic table and edit video right up until the point you do this. This is the pier at Wilson's Beach. I stop here every time. See, coming to Campobello in spring is a great time to come because of all the songbirds. But coming here in late summer is for this opportunity right here. This is Head Harbor Passage, one of the most productive water bodies this time of year that I know about in the world. A lot can be happening in this spot because the tide tends to race through here. And so right now, I'm just sorting through all the Bonaparte's gulls. See, there are thousands of Bonaparte's gulls here, all coming down from their nesting lakes in Canada. With them, a couple of rarities that I'm looking for. Little gull, it is the smallest gull in the world. It's a Eurasian gull. There's a couple of small colonies way up in northern Canada. And 1, 2, 3, 4 can be in here somewhere amongst all these thousands of gulls. And there is one other culprit I'm always looking for, and that's a Sabin's gull. Last year I saw a whole ton of them in Alaska, but here, that is a rarity. But it's already been seen in here in the last week. By the way, if you wanted to be somewhere on land looking for minke whales, this spot's pretty good. I've seen them here a lot. Once again, this is Wilson's Beach Pier. Campobello, that's Latin for beautiful field. We'll be watching for you.